Robert J. Cowan coming to you live. Let go of your biggest blunders. Now, letting go of our blunders can be a challenge. And I'm not doing this to start besmirching the Catholic Church, but I was raised Catholic. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I fully embraced as a younger person was Catholic guilt. And letting go of blunders was really challenging. So letting go of blunders can be more challenging for certain personality types. I mean, there's all kinds of environmental reasons why blunders can be hard to let go of. But living a happy, productive life is absolutely dependent on your ability to let go of blunders and to move forward. Mistakes are a part of life, and knowing that can, sorry, I need to adjust the light here. Accepting that and moving forward, speaking of blunders, start the show with the lighting not right. At any rate, I want to give you an approach to letting go of those blunders. But first, I want to tell you a quick story from J. Paul Getty's memoirs. And he talked about one time owning an oil lease in Oklahoma. And before he drilled, he consulted with a geologist who then told him that, you should just sell this thing. There's no oil here. It's a worthless lease. Keep moving. So Getty went ahead and sold the lease. And it turned out to be an enormously profitable oil field for someone else. And, Getty was in his recalling this situation, he said, I can't blame that geologist for giving me faulty information. It is I can only blame myself for accepting it without question. And so, some of our blunders are the result of not doing adequate due diligence, of relying on only one source, or inadequate, just inadequate self-education of what it is that we should be doing. And so the critical thing is to take that self-realization and forgive yourself for not doing it, and just repeat to yourself the mantra of moving forward, I will make sure that I adequately inform myself. And that sounds so elementary as I say it. It's almost like can come across as insulting that I'm saying this out loud to people. But in the heat of battle and in the ongoing stress of life, it's easy to forget these fundamental things. And I coach people day in and day out who have this very issue on their plate. And so whenever I bring up, J. Paul Getty, who was I think he was the richest guy in the world at one point. At any rate, just to share, every person does these things. And it's in the letting go and moving forward that we're powerful. It's not in the holding on and in the self-recrimination. The next thing comes from the next way that blunders can easily happen is in the opposite direction. It's in the direction of, well, the crowd was doing it, everybody was doing it, so I just went along. And it, in that moment, the quote that I like from Warren Buffett, you can tell I've lost my place. My notes are sticking together. I can almost recite it from memory, but I want to make sure. So, Buffett says, we simply attempt to be fearful when others are greedy, and to be greedy when others are fearful. And so, he is that something that should always be the case? No, absolutely not. But again, it comes back to that whole thing of, are your blunders coming from this? Is this something that gets repeated? Is this an ongoing theme? And if it is, it's incumbent upon you to be, if you want to be an effective person, to put an end to that cycle, and to, when the crowd's doing everything else, look the other way, check out the other direction, see what's going on there. And, this one is one again that it's easy because people get criticized. Even people get criticized, but going along with the crowd is something that doesn't get criticized as much as possibly it should be, because it's like if that were that was the common knowledge at the time, that was the state of the art, that was this, that was that. But if you're the one who is committing a blunder from that, you really need to pause, look, okay, I did just blindly go with the crowd. I forgive myself moving forward. When I see the crowd doing this, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and examine what's going on. And I'm going to diligently do my homework to see if it makes sense to follow the crowd or not at this point in time. And for the most part, going the other way is generally much better. So the last kind of instance that I want to talk about where I experience people, and actually this is one that for me is also personally I've lived with, and that is I didn't listen to my gut. My instincts, my intuition, my gut told me I should do this, I shouldn't do this, and I either did or didn't, or I ignored that gut and I acted the opposite way. And this is one that it's personal, because this is one where you can blame yourself on the other two, but not blaming you, but not listening to your gut. And especially for intuitives who are kind of live life by their gut, it can be a hard one to let go of. And so I want to suggest this technique to you for whether it's any of those three examples or whatever it is in a blunder. Find a physical location that you don't normally go to. This is almost like burying a body in the desert. It is. It's metaphorically, you're burying a body in the desert. But I actually developed this technique years ago when I was going through some really hard stuff. And I was fortunate enough to have a master teach me this technique. And excuse me, I would ride my bike to this remote location. I would stand there. And the thing was, it was kind of a nice location. It had a nice view and everything else, but it was out of the way. It wasn't someplace I normally went. And I literally threw that blunder, that mistake, that grief, whatever it is, over the edge of the cliff, and let it roll down the hill. And I visualized letting it go and rolling down that hill. And I was always skeptical as to whether or not, I always did feel better after I did that. But I wasn't fully cognizant of the impact it had until I visited that location without anything to dump over the side. And I didn't want to be there. It was uncomfortable. It was like visiting a graveyard of my errors. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I can honestly say, no, I'm not going to try to grade my own errors. But at any rate, the fact that you've got this physical place, you dump it out of your head, you let go of it, you observe it in your mind's eye rolling down the hill, and it's sitting there, is a powerful act. And so if you have blunders that are those really gripping blunders that you can't let go of, I urge you to give this a try. Find a place. If you want to make it creepy, picture you're dumping the body of a blunder. But physically go through the exercise and physically be present to the self-recrimination, leaving your body and going over the hill, over the cliff, into the desert sand, whatever it is. And again, it's a place that you don't normally visit, but that you can just think of as your graveyard of your blunders. And so make the decision to hold on to the lesson. Moving forward, I will do this. I will do more due diligence. I won't listen to the crowd. I will listen to my gut. And I forgive myself and let go of this that continues to impede my performance or haunt me or cause me to not sleep at night or whatever. And to then don't ever visit that place unless you have other bodies of blunder bodies to dump, and make that your special place where you just have this ritual of letting go and moving forward. I'm Robert J. Conley. We all blunder, and the key is to let go of them, learn from them, let go of them, and move forward. I hope you have a great rest of the day.